Oh. Oh my.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. Got him. He came all the way out of the water on that thing. That was nuts. Oh, and that's why, because it's a gator, but wrong species. First one of those on the frog today. Hopefully didn't tear it up too bad. So get that out of there. But as you can see, so that's what he came out of, real thick cover. So those are lily pad roots, rhizomes, whatever you want to call them. Been fishing this frog today around thick cover, you know, whether it be shoreline based, thick lily pads, reeds, that sort of deal. And, you know, catching fish, particularly on a frog, is one of my favorite ways to catch them. And you can pitch it into wherever the heck you want, under docks, up into the thickest stuff you can imagine. And one thing with that, you know, the thickest stuff, you can't even see where that frog is right now, hardly, unless you start twitching it. One thing I really like in a frog is a bright colors on it somewhere. And that's not necessarily for the fish, it's more so for myself, especially when I'm fishing thick cover. Because when I'm fishing this stuff, I put it in there and I'm working it through. Realistically, a fish can eat that at any point inside that cover. If I can't visually see that frog when I'm working it and I get a blow up, it's hard for me to tell if that fish actually has the frog or not. And so if you can't see, a lot of times I end up just swinging. You know, that could potentially mean you're pulling that frog away from a fish. If you miss it on the first time, you know, a lot of times they'll come back if you just let it sit, twitch, they'll come back and eat it again if you're able to see that that frog is not actually underwater or in the fish's mouth. So that's why I prefer, you know, using something with bright colors on it. This one particularly, you know, it's got a green top, but that red belly, orange belly, red nose on it, when it's walking back and forth like this, that red just is flashing the whole time. And it just visually for myself, it's something to key in on really easily. You know, so this is the color that I started with today, and you can see, I mean, it's almost like a camo, little diamondback, you know, whatever you want to call it. And that just, you know, it blends in really well, which, you know, the fish don't seem to mind, because I just think it's a reaction bite. It's a little bit more of the frog profile at times, but then it was hard for me to see it. So I was pulling it away from a lot of fish. But so I went to this colored frog, and you can see, I mean, the difference, how high vis that is, and that little red front is just a beacon for me to see as I'm walking it through that cover. You know, open water, it might not be as important to be able to see that high vis, because generally in open water, your frog is almost the only thing that's coming through, whether you're fishing docks or that sort of thing. So you can see it, you know, it's the only thing there. So it's not as important to have that high vis color, in my opinion. When it's more of the open water application, it's more of this, like we're doing today, this heavy cover stuff. When it comes to choosing a high vis color, you really just pick your favorite frog and look at their color selection. Personally, I don't necessarily like the super gaudy ones. You know, this one's still, it's pretty bright. It's got that red and orange. It's got that green back. I personally like this one in particular because I still feel like it gives me a little bit of a bluegill imitation color with the red and orange. You know, it's not super whacked out, but you know, sometimes it is nice to have those really bright, you know, a full bright yellow frog or a full bright red frog to be able to see that really well in that thick cover.